Kosher Wine Podcast with Dr. Kenny Friedman and Rabbi Yisroel Bernath.
We're back together.
We're back together.
Chaim L'chaim. It's great to see you.
Chaim, in honor of your birthday, happy birthday to you.
How did you know?
I have to know these things.
It's my secular birthday tomorrow, but we'll celebrate my Jewish one, which is Gimel Adar. My secular birthday is indeed tomorrow. Thank you.
Well, are you? I know you accept gifts of wine.
I do accept.
Are you going to give?
I think I've said this before, but one of the worst things about becoming one of us is that people stop bringing me wine because they're always like, "I'm afraid to bring you wine." I'm like, "Don't be afraid to bring me wine. You can always bring me wine."
People always say that. They always say, "Oh, well, I'll bring you something else. I'm not going to bring you wine."
Yeah. I think it's just an excuse, to be honest.
No, look, somebody came over for Shabbos the other day, last week, and they brought us a wooden bowl with
that's nice.
spoons. They're like,
Bowl's nice.
I'm not gonna bring you wine. I'm gonna bring you something else.
I happen to like when people bring those kind of things, like wooden bowls, and my wife, it makes her happy. But I'm saying, but most often nowadays, people just bring candy, and I'm like, I don't want to eat candy. My daughter's happy. I don't want candy. I want wine. Bring wine.
Exactly.
Bring wine. And if it's
Mazel tov.
Mazel tov. Yeah,
I opened a bubbly because it's your birthday.
I had that, I think a previous one maybe, unless I'm crazy, but I'll buy any bubbly, and that is an inexpensive bubbly from Spain, I believe, right? That you're pouring. I think I saw that.
Clos 15. It's a Cava. I've never had it.
Yeah. What is the grape? The grape? Does it say on the back? It said
the grape is
Jezreel, whatever it's called.
It's a Pinot. Pinot started producing 100 years ago.
Clos 15.
Clos 15.
I want to look. It doesn't say.
It does not say what kind of grape it is. I was never into.
I forgot to say it is. I'm looking at it. It's at. I don't know how to pronounce the Spanish. Xarel low, like Charolo.
Yeah.
And then Macabeo and Parellada.
Oh wow.
Those are the standard Spanish grapes. How's that?
It's that XO with a dash.
How's that smell?
It smells like a Cava. I was never into bubbly till I met you.
I know we gotta get you. Well, in honor of you celebrating my birthday, I opened. This was already open. This is a crazy bottle. Someone did give me this. Oh man, this is a Yarden dessert. It is a late harvest Muscat, and for those watching, you can see that year on there.
Oh my gosh, is that 1998?
See, my camera's not that bad. It is in 1998, but that's not even what's crazy about it. What's crazy about it is that we opened this months ago, and it's just been hanging out in my cellar, and I just sip at it from time to time. I actually hide it from my wife because she would finish it in one shot. This is her favorite stuff, like these dessert wines, and this is amazing. By the way, it's super funky, nutty. Still got some primary fruit in it, but crazy old funk to it. I love it. It's an interesting thing. People never totally understand why these wines last. I mean, this is 27 years old now, and it lasts because of the sugar, really, primarily is what preserves it.
And it's last in your fridge.
It's so good. It's so good.
I can't think of a better way to celebrate your secular birthday.
Thank you. What are you going to do for my Jewish birthday?
We're going to have to open a red for your Jewish birthday.
Am I going to see you next? You know what? I haven't even settled my plans yet. But am I going to see you at KFWE in New York?
I mean, I'm scheduled there.
Right.
I'm being there.
I hope I'm going to be. I plan to be there.
I really hope that you're there.
Yeah, we should, and we should schmooze up some people for the pod. That's coming up Monday. I think today is Tuesday. It's Tuesday the 4th now. Thursday the 6th is the Brooklyn KWD, as they call it, which is a nice. This will be the second one, and it's kind of given the good people at Royal the license to not open KFWE to the public anymore. Which because KFWE now, with the exception of Miami, is trade only. They've had over the last few years some other random ones like in Houston
Mhm.
and somewhere else, maybe, which is followed.
Toronto,
Sorry,
Toronto.
Toronto. Did
Yeah.
you go to the Toronto one?
Mm-mm. I knew about it, but I didn't go.
How far is Toronto from Montreal? I have no idea. You could say any
About the
number.
same. It's about as long as New Jersey is from Montreal, like about 5.5 hours.
I like how you thought that that would help me, that you say it's.
No, because I'm thinking KFWE's in New Jersey. It's like the same distance.
Oh,
It's
oh, oh,
the same
okay.
schlep.
5 hours. All right.
It's the same
Uh,
schlep.
okay. So because they don't open to the public officially anymore, even though lots of people get in, honestly, but because they don't, because also
Right.
they have this KWD. I'm not sure if it officially stands for anything, but they do that at the Kingsway Jewish Center in Brooklyn. There's not many reasons to go to Brooklyn, if you ask me, but that would be a reason I would go. But I
Yeah, though
can't
neither of us
possibly
are
go. I'm
going.
doing a
Do you
big event on
recommend it?
Sunday, which I'm stressed about. What's that?
Do you recommend it, even though neither of us are going?
Yeah, because the people, first of all, I know the people that run it are good people and they have the right intentions for it. They're not doing it to make money, they're doing it to put on a good event. And I know a lot of people that went last year and said it was great. The advantage they have is that it's not only royal wines, they have other wines from some of the other importers and distributors. And yeah, it looked like a nice event. I honestly would try. They normally would have done it Sunday, like the day before KFWE, but I don't think they wanted to go up against the Super Bowl.
Mm, that makes sense. I
Yeah, so
I'm not going.
they made it instead Thursday
Yeah,
night. So for me
right.
to go to Brooklyn on a random Thursday night. Anyway, but that's coming up, and then Wednesday is KFWE LA, which I'm currently not planning to go to. And then KFWE London, which is next week. I believe that's the 16th, I want to say, in London. That one I would like to go to. And in fact, my wife saw an ad and she's like, "Why aren't you going to this?" I'm like, "I didn't know that you would support me going to that. I really should go." I've never been to London, and there's a lot of great people there, a lot of great wine drinkers there. A lot of
Yeah, I'd go
so
with you.
that is what I would like to do. But I just got back, as we alluded to in our last chat. I just got back from Israel, and it was amazing. And we had a very. I was with my son, and I was with. I spent a lot of time with the great Simon Jacob, including Shabbos at his house with Simon and Barry. Sunday morning, we planned a trip up north, which seems, what's the word I'm looking for? It seems very materialistic to just go to wineries, but the reality is that it's doing something by going up north. The north has really, really suffered since October 7th. I know everyone seems to think, about the war, and they think about Gaza, and rightfully so, and then all the communities surrounding Gaza, and rightfully so. But the north was evacuated for 14 months, and the businesses and business people up there suffered tremendously, including the wineries. And like we always say, that's one thing that you and I can affect is helping wineries and winemakers. So we wanted very much to go up. It's not convenient per se when you're on a short trip to go up north. Without traffic, it's 2 hours. So what did we do? We also, and this was my son's first trip to Eretz Yisrael, which was special. I wanted to do
Oh,
that with him. So we also wanted to, because it's right on the way, we went to Sfat. So Simon's like, we need to leave. We have to be at the car. We had a guy drive us, a great guy, and we have to be at the car at 2:30 a.m. I'm like, 2:30 a.m. I'm like, what time is Nate's? Because we were going to daven Nate's at the Abu Hab Synagogue, which is that is such an incredible place. Sfat itself is what a special it's every step you take in Eretz Yisrael is special, but Tzfat is so magical. And he said he said 2:30. He's an early riser, and by talking to him for a long time, I convinced him we don't have to leave till 3:30. So we left at 3:30. We got to the shul by about 5:45. I have no idea what carbonos they were even saying for like 30, 40 minutes. They were saying something. I'm not really sure. I was still half asleep. But the best part, Simon said it was like the Cadillac of shuls because there's this man and this kid were going around at the end of davening, which was about 7:15, handing out cookies and hot tea. And I went and took a Turkish coffee, which hit the spot. And then we ventured down to the Ari's mikvah, which for those who don't know, and the rabbi can tell the spiritual significance of it, is a very special thing. On a simple level, it's freezing cold.
Freezing. It's freezing.
So what do they say? They say like you're guaranteed what if you go in? You're guaranteed that.
I mean,
Don't you know?
today cold plunges, they say you're going to live a long life. So you must.
No, I'm saying the
It's the
spiritual
original cold
is
plunge.
going in the mikvah,
Yeah,
whatever.
I know. I'm
But
joking.
anyway, I'm saying you earn it by going through that ice bath.
Yeah.
So that, by the way, is so much different than I have been there a few times across the years, but the first time I went there, it was much more rustic. I mean, now they have like a real locker room and bathrooms. They didn't have that first time I went 35 years ago, actually. Um, Similar to Cava Rachel. The first time I went there, some like regular bus, some Egged type bus dropped us off. We walked through the Arab Shuk and you're at Cava Rachel. And it was just like, it looked like in the paintings, basically. The paintings from like that I grew up with. Now it's unfortunately like a compound because it has to be, but everything is a little different every time I come back. Then we went down to the cemetery, and that's wow, incredible. And then after many steps back up the mountain, we went to our first winery. Which, by the way, it's a crazy. When he first told me, he's like, we were scheduled for Recanati Winery at 9 a.m. I'm like, 9 a.m. What am I drinking wine at 9 a.m.? This was like half through the day for me because we'd been going since I got up at 2:45 in the morning. So we got to Recanati right around then sometime, and we were lucky enough to have Effie Coates there, who's I forget what his title is, but he's like the director of the visitor center. He's a sommelier. He was a sommelier he was one of the last people who held a job as like a hotel sommelier in the kosher world and in Israel. I forget which hotel it was. It's either like King David or some hotel like that. But anyway, they're lucky to have him. He's amazing. That guy knows his stuff. Recanati just completed their new visitor center, and it's spectacular. It is beautiful. And that's just inside. You go outside, and it's like majestic. I mean, you're looking at Hermon. You actually see Syria and Lebanon from there.
Wow.
And it's gorgeous there. And they did not spare any expense on that place. It is a beautiful, beautiful place. And he really pulled out all the stops for us. I think we drank every wine they produce. We were there for I think we went a little over schedule there. Also, they great food, pizzas and cheeses and whatever. And the food was great. And they don't even have a staff there yet. They haven't been able to hire people for their kitchen yet, or because literally people are just finally getting back up there. So if you are there and you can get up north, go spend money in the north, go visit the wineries in the north. We visited 3 other wineries and they were all great and they were all special. We went after Recanati, and I could talk a little bit. I feel like I'm talking so much, by the way, and you're enjoying your bubbly, which is a pretty good place to be in, as long as you enjoy what I'm saying.
I am loving every minute of this and the bubbly and listening to Israel. I feel like I'm really living in Israel right now with listening
It
to
was so special, the trip. And so after Recanati, we went to Dalton, and that's also a special place for me. I love their wines, but I know them well. And and the winemaker Guy Eshel was kind enough to come to work on. I thought like Sunday was like a regular day there, but I mean, it is. It's like a regular work day. It's the Monday of America, but I don't think these guys are always in the winery. They have other operations and they do other things. And two or three of the people in the winery is like, wait, he's at the winery today? Like they were surprised he was there, but he came for us and he sat with us and drank wine, and it was spectacular. And a big announcement, by the way, is that the Dalton Anna is finally going to be put out after like years. That's
Wow.
their dessert style
Yeah.
wine, which is just amazing and a unique wine made in a unique way. So that's finally, I don't know if
You
it's,
try it?
no, we didn't have it there. We did not have it there. I don't remember why. I think I felt bad. I did have their bubbly, which was great. And that doesn't come to the States. The Anna will maybe, yeah, we did. In fact, I'm not going to rat him out, but Simon bought some. I told him he better hold a bottle for me until the next time. I didn't pack any bags. I didn't check any bags, I should say. So I had no way to really bring wine home. I could have probably, just taken one of my carry-ons and put stuff on it and checked it, but I whatever. Anyway, another time. But anyway, that wine is coming to America, which is
I just
which is
got my
exciting.
shipment of grounded of the Zuriman.
Oh, did you try that? Yeah,
I had it this past Shabbos. It was amazing. It's
yeah.
so interesting.
It's such an interesting wine, and it's
Yeah,
the only one in the world made, which is cool. Did we talk about that on here?
we did. That's why I bought it. I bought it and I finally, I mean, it takes time to get here. And it finally
Yeah.
made it here, and I had it on Shabbos, and it was just something
How
unique.
does Canada have like automobiles, and like how do things travel there? By
Yeah,
by
so finally the horse and buggy showed up. I know.
by 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 Wolfpack? I don't know how things move in Canada.
You have no idea. We almost had a 25% tariff on all of our wine. That would have been disaster.
Yeah. Um, that was so Dalton is also a beautiful place. It's it was a different feel than Recanati, and that Recanati is like really like the winery and visitor center, state of the art. Also a larger place. Dalton is no fledgling winery. It's a big winery. The visitor center is much more like rustic, and it's really beautiful there though. We sat outside and had another like more pizza. I think I ate more cheese that day than in my entire life, and it was amazing. I enjoyed every bite of it. I also drank my fair share of wine. But that was a great visit. After that, we went. These are all in the same spot. By the way, when you first pull in, this kind of like there's
Oh,
kind
so
of
what time is it now? It's got to be about 11 a.m.
I lost track of time at around Dalton. I don't know what time it was. I honestly have no idea. The other person that went with us was Eitan G. I know some people may know him, and some people know him from I do pickle reviews with him. And when he comes to Baltimore, he always brings me like a ton of new pickles, and we sit down. But I grew up with Eitan. I've known him my entire life. He now lives in Israel. Eitan is relatively famous for being a Jewish rapper and longtime part of Shlock Rock,
Wow.
which I'm sure you know Shlock Rock, right?
I mean, I haven't heard that name in a long time. Yeah.
Right. Well, they're still around. Lenny's doing great. They're all in Israel, basically, including Eitan. So, but Eitan was falling asleep at every single winery because he didn't sleep the night before. At least he claims that. So we have a lot of funny pictures of him sleeping. He's also not really a wine drinker so much, but he's a people person. He loved it anyway. But we at Dalton, I'm thinking, I don't know, that was somewhere between like noon and 2 around that time frame. Then we went to Netofa. And I know we were at Netofa around we davened Mincha and Marv at Netofa. So that must have been around
It's a
5:30.
good thing that you pray. Otherwise, you wouldn't have known the times. You're like,
It was a good thing
the
someone
morning
told
was
me.
this, the afternoon was this.
It's a good thing someone told me. Netofa actually right above you know what? I don't even the directions I was walking, maybe it wasn't right above, but right in the same place, there's a beautiful shul that services like there's a bunch of businesses there and whatever, and they have a really beautiful shul there. I was like, he's like, we're going to Dav Mincha, and I expected it to be like 10 guys in the side room or something like that. I walk into this massive, beautiful shul. Um, Netofa was amazing. We sat with Pierre Miodovnik, the legend himself, who I don't think people appreciate his contribution greatly enough to the kosher world. I mean, he's the guy that really started it out with a lot of the famous, the chateau this, chateau that, 25, 30 years ago, having kosher runs of those made. And Netofa is about 2 decades old and has a different style, I think, than a lot of the other wineries. And it's much more European in style, much more French. Pierre himself, as you could probably tell by his name, is French and a real mensch, gentleman person, frum guy, and really lovely to sit with him. I never met him in person, and that was very special. Um, by the time we left there, it was dark, and I, out of the kindness of his heart, because we were running way behind schedule, Jacob Ner David. Am I saying his name right? From Jezreel waited
Jezreel.
around for us, and we went to Jezreel, and that was so cool. That was a little bit of a drive. That was a little bit of a different area. I mean, I more south, obviously, because these other places are far north. And that was a lot of fun. And Jezreel is a place that I know Jacob, and I of course know Yaakov Shachatovitz is a good friend of mine who's very involved in Jezreel for years, and it was special to go there. They do some cool wines. One of the wines they're most known for is the Argamon, which is Argamon may be the most, at this point, most notable, indigenous Israeli grape, and they have a big hand in that in that kind of becoming the indigenous Israeli grape. So that was cool. And then I don't know what time we got home. I don't remember, but I ended up going somewhere even after we got back. So that was a day. That was a day.
Wow.
But Israel was very, very special.
So
And
you ended up visiting 4 wineries while you were there.
4 wineries. Yeah, it was a packed day. The cool thing is that I can pull up the picture somewhere. That the place where the center where the first 3 wineries are has like 12 wineries in it. Some are very small. A couple of them may not even be kosher. I don't know, but like Luria was there. I would have liked to have seen that also, but we just didn't have time to go to every one of them. There were some other wineries there. In fact, a funny funny story was that, and Simon always talks about this Sfat winery. He knows the winemaker. When we were coming out of the shul, we were walking down one of the Sfat alleyways, as you can picture, and everything is blue, and the sun was just rising. It was really beautiful, and there was a garbage can on the side, and it was like, this is the most post-Shabbos Jewish garbage I've ever seen. On the side of the garbage can, there was a pan of cholent and 2 empty bottles of wine, and I was like, yeah, I feel at home. It was 2 bottles, and it was from that Spot Winery. And I was like, "Why don't we go to?" He's like, "Yeah, he's not. Either he was in shul then. I would have loved to have seen his winery in Spot. Very small operation, but that's a cool thing."
Absolutely. Wow. What a trip.
What have you been up to? Now that I've been talking for 20 straight minutes.
Wow. Wow. Now I want
Yeah,
to go to Israel.
there was much more wine and much more amazing things, but that was specific my winery trips, and it was really, really special. And a lot of people think I've been to every winery in Israel. Far from it. For most of the last 25 years, I didn't travel that much. I raised kids and paid tuition. That's what I've been doing. Um, but it was amazing. It was amazing. My son loved every second of it. So it was great. I don't know. Thanks to my wife for letting me take that trip. Thanks to Simon for arranging that. It was really, what a day. And thanks for
I'm
letting me talk about it for the
I'm
last.
blown away. I'm blown away. Wow.
So at Recanati, the couple of the wines that I tasted that I found really the most, not interesting, or they weren't the most expensive. but I was kind of blown away by, I don't think it even comes here. Is the first one we had was the least expensive wine they produce. It's called Yonatan. And the Yonatan white wine 2023, I thought was so good for how much they charge for that. I think it's like a $9 wine or something like that. It's so good. I love that. And I love they had a they call it a French blend. They just put out a 2024 French blend. It's a semi-sweet wine. I thought it was beautiful. That their wines are great. I just like that's I got to actually meet Kobe Arviv, the winemaker. He happened to be there. He was sitting, I found him in his office and we harassed him in his office. So he's great also. And I think he's a great winemaker. Recanati is just I think the common denominator in all these wineries is just they're all very consistent in making good wines, like top to bottom, like they're inexpensive wines, or it's always the I think the note of a great winery is how good are their entry level wines.
That's
Everyone can
interesting.
make a great hundred
Yes,
wine, but make a great $10 wine.
I agree with you. Like this, like this bubbly here. It's pretty
Yeah,
good.
that's
It's
really
good. Yeah.
yeah. I like all bubbly. I'm really like, I don't think I have a great palate with bubbly. I read, I obviously read a lot of wine notes and whatever, and I'm like, I don't think my palate is so distinctive when it comes to like determining the difference in the bubbles and like that kind of stuff. Obviously, I pick up the notes, the fruit and whatever, and the acid, but I'm not great with that. And I don't mind a little bit of sweetness and bubbly. I also love super, super bone dry. I like it all. I just, I love bubbly. What can I say? I've started to think maybe I should just drink bubbly. The problem is you're going to have on your hands right now is that you just opened a bubbly on a Tuesday night that you're going to have to, you're going to have to finish.
Of course I'm gonna finish. I'm gonna finish it while I'm sitting here with you. So yeah, so the reason why I'm not going to this event on the 6th in New York is because David Cohen from LV is coming to Montreal and we're doing
Oh,
an event.
wow. So lucky. Yeah, you mentioned
Yeah,
that. Awesome.
here, check out the
Oh, look at you. You're so technical with your screen share.
I know, right? Come on, hello.
Gotta make my thing bigger. I have it only on part of the screen here.
Look at our menu here.
Also, I want to see I'm equally interested in the food.
Yeah.
Uh, Menu and program. An edible tablescape. I love the wording already. A freshly baked bread, vine ripened tomatoes, and aromatic herbs. And you're having that with the Vina Encina Blanco 23. That's a good example also of like it's a $10 wine. That's always very
I
solid.
love that wine. Yeah, absolutely.
So they're another example of a winery that really never misses. They make every single wine they make is good. Segundo plato, I don't know what that means. Traditional Spanish omelet paired with herbed cream and caviar. Sounds delicious. And you drink that with the Horenza Rioja. Great. I'm gonna mangle these words. Tercer plato. I don't know what that is. Tender slow cooked beef served with a velvety seasonal vegetable puree. That collection Crianza is their Mavoshal one, I believe. The previous one is also, I believe that's what a lot of people call the
Yeah, the semi, the Arenza semi,
the
exactly.
blue label, which is also now Mavoshal. Cuarto plato, chicken and chorizo paella, Spanish rice with tender chicken, chorizo served straight from the pan. That sounds amazing. Is your wife's making this food, isn't she?
Yeah, how do you know?
Yeah, I think you told me that.
Yeah, this is her first time.
It's
Um,
amazing.
it's amazing. She's like totally, I always said that we could be a great team, like the food and the wine. And so this is our first time actually trying this.
Yeah, it's a lot easier being the wine guy. Yeah, I over the years I did a number of events with Gabe Geller, and I sleeving in the kitchen doing the food, and he's like sitting there enjoying himself, drinking wine. I'm like, to be the wine guy, it's a lot more fun being the wine guy.
Yeah.
Special presentation, David Cohen, winemaker, LB Wines. Oh, and then you're drinking a bunch more wines.
Yeah, we're gonna do like the Ranza Reserva, the Clos Masora, the
And the
L26, and
sibling.
then the siblings. Yeah.
Of course, the siblings is named because now his sister is a winemaker. The whole family is involved now. So imagine that's who it's named for both of them being involved in the winery. Now that's very cool. And
Yeah.
then you have dessert is a crispy churro style donut served with persimmon Rocky Road ice cream. That sounds amazing with the sangria. Sangria Sintonia white. I know they make a white sangria.
Yeah. I know. I actually like it much better than the red.
Yeah, I think we're in a safe space here. I never actually loved that sangria, the red one, but I'm interested to taste that white one.
Yeah.
That's very cool. That's Thursday night.
That's Thursday night. Yeah.
That's really cool. Hatzlacha Rabba.
Yeah. We have 60 people coming. We're
Amazing.
full
I think
house,
it's 60 people.
and we have a live jazz band.
That's amazing.
They're doing flamenco because Spanish style.
That's amazing. That's a great idea. Love it. I love it. I love the event planning and the whatever as much as I do. I love that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm doing a big event on Sunday where I'm doing the food and the wine.
This week.
I don't have the wine list yet, but I have my general. It's a private, like someone hired me in the DC area to do a party, and I'm excited by it. I'm
Speak up.
excited.
What kind of food? Come on. I
It's
want to
not
salivate.
really decided yet, but we're doing. First of all, I haven't had a chance to write up the fancy names yet. So my names aren't going to sound as fancy. I have somebody. I wrote. This is what I've written for seared codfish tacos. We're doing dairy fish, by the way. Seared codfish tacos with ginger mango slaw and avocado crema. We're doing vegetable pot stickers with a garlic soy dipping sauce. I'm bringing my guy from Baltimore who I've discovered, and I'm going to make him a superstar. He makes artisanal pizzas, and he does it on site. He uses a 3-day fermented dough, and he's making what he calls truffle bliss, which is a white slice, mushrooms, jalapeno, mozzarella, Brussels, and truffle oil. He's making one he calls pesto prima, which is basil pesto, brown tomato, and his classic cheese. So we're gonna also be pumping out fresh pizzas. The soup, I'm doing a ginger carrot soup, which is interesting. I'm gonna make that before because I've never made it before. I'm gonna make it probably tomorrow to try it out. And what's cool is like I haven't done that many events that were dairy, so I like to be able to use cheese and whatever in things. We're
Those of you
doing
who are salivating like me, you should follow Kenny on Instagram because he usually posts
good.
as the pics and as he's doing it. It's amazing.
I do. Thank you. This is interesting. We're doing a stuffed sweet potato with burrata, sage pesto, and toasted walnuts. It's really delicious, by the way.
Mhm.
So I can use burrata, like I said. Then a bunch of interesting salads, like a beet salad. It's not even a beet salad, but it's the star of the salad is golden and red beets with a feta cheese, shallot, green apple, balsamic vinaigrette, tomato mint pomegranate salad. This is an interesting one. Sicilian citrus salad.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, I don't
What is
even. I'm not sure. It looked really cool. I saw it and I'm like, oh, I think I'm gonna make that.
Was that like you were like scrolling Instagram and you're like, oh, that looks good. Let's make that.
No, I look through. I like looking through all these. I'm sure your wife does the same thing. I like look through just like for interesting. I'm gonna look it up again. It's not Sicilian citrus salad. Is she cooking already? Like, what's she? Here it is.
She's already currently cooking. Literally, she's in the other room now cooking.
It's amazing. Sicilian. So it's navel oranges, blood oranges, caracara oranges, grapefruit, but then it's red onion, fennel, celery, olives, and stuff like radicchio for like the greenery,
Oh, it's amazing. It sounds really good.
and like red wine vinegar. Yeah, it does sound good.
That sounds
It
good.
looks really good. It's a beautiful. I like color, it's like
Yeah.
my friends is always like everything everyone makes is brown. Like so I always think of that when I'm making food. I always like try to make stuff with like at least a punch of color to it. You ever notice that? Like, go to a Kiddush on Shabbos. It's like, look at the table. Everything's brown.
Beige, brown.
It's very Ashkenazic style eating. Is like I try to get away from that. I don't even like that food anymore. But like cholent,
I think
kugel,
I think living in
crackers,
Montreal,
it's all
living in
brown.
Montreal, yeah, we're
Yeah.
very Sephardic influenced here. So
Yeah.
it's just part of the culture here is that there's not so much Ashkenazic food. I mean, there is. Montreal's known for a lot of Ashkenazi food like bagels, but there's also like a lot of really good Sephardic flair, and we're used to it. Like regular Shabbat dinner. I mean, salad cuit is a regular staple.
Which is what?
It's a better version of matbucha.
What makes it different?
It's just like it's the tomatoes slow cooked for like 4 days. You know what they say? Like you start preparing for Shabbos on Wednesday. That's what the Moroccans do.
How do you spell that? I gotta make this.
Salad cuit.
S- Like,
Cuit.
like salad, like the Hebrew
Yeah,
word?
like salad.
And then what's the second word? Queet?
Cuit, I think is cuit.
Salad tweet. Oh, salad tweet is what you're saying.
No, cuit with the C.
Oh, okay. No wonder. Because the Islamic prayer came up. I was like, I don't think
Moroccans that are listening, you should
tweet.
you know there's that thing on Instagram where you could become a good Sephardic. There's a whole somebody made a really great little funny meme ad about Duolingo about like how to be a good Sephardic. I feel like this needs to be one of the ads for that Duolingo. How do you say salad quit?
You and I talking about Sephardic words.
Yes, to Ashkenazi
Um, that looks
botching up
amazing.
Sephardic words.
When I was at Simon on Friday night, when I was at Simon and I think you're freezing up a little bit, by
Oh,
the way, because I missed like the last thing you said. Um, is it working on your end?
yeah, it's fine now.
Okay. I'm getting like a delayed thing. When I was at Simon and Barry's on Friday night, this is I think the third time I've been there. I go to the shuk before Shabbos and I always bring them salatim and sourdough and some other stuff. But I always get this like matbucha style thing. It's probably exactly what it was, this salad quiche. And I dropped a massive part of it right on my middle of my white shirt.
Oh man.
And I was like, "Ugh, Baruch Hashem, I brought a second white shirt, especially since we were visiting a couple of yeshivas with my son. I just needed another shirt. But anyway, right after Shabbos, Barry calls up to me. She's like, "Give me that shirt. I'm cleaning." I'm like, "You're not cleaning my shirt. Like, this is like real full service here." She insisted. And about an hour later, Simon brought it up spotless. I'm like, so I'm shipping all of my white shirts now to Jerusalem to Barry Jacob.
Wow. I
Yeah,
am going
they
I'm
take
going to Simon's for Shabbos. This is
they're Avram Avinu style people of entertaining guests. They're the best. They are the best.
wow.
And that's before talking about the wine. You know, the night I left, by the way, he was hosting some wine party, not necessarily an RCC, but like all those wine nerds in Israel, all of our friends there, like Avi Davidowitz and literally everyone. It happened to be Ellie Feldman, my friend from Philly, happened to be there. But I was going to the airport that night. I really Andy Sinton was there. I don't want to forget anyone's name, so I'm not going to start listing everyone. But Simon had a real crazy wine week. In fact, we had such a crazy Sunday. He forgot that he was supposed to go to Tabor on Monday, and I think he thought it was Tuesday, and then like he was like he forgot about it because we had such a crazy Sunday. So he did it on Tuesday. I think he had a podcast with Tabor with the Ord Nidbach as the winemaker there. Um, anyway, yeah, a great place. And it was a special trip. I can't wait to get back already. I can't wait to get back.
So I have a big reveal.
Yes.
After our whole podcast with Binyo, I'm going to spend a couple days with him.
When are you going?
I'm gonna go in like 2 weeks.
Why was I not invited on this trip?
I'm inviting you now.
Look, we're going to talk off screen. I'm going to see if I can do that. Really, you're going in a couple weeks.
Yeah, yeah. I'm going for 3 days,
That's amazing.
and we're gonna go to some other places together also
I
in
have
the
to
region.
probably get on this trip. We'll
I got
talk.
all inspired. I was like, should I
That's
go to
amazing.
KFWE LA or should I go spend some time at
Yeah.
Four Gates? I'm like, I'm going to Four Gates.
What's the question? That's the question. That's amazing. I can't
Yeah,
say I'm
so
not
we're
jealous. I want
so
to
we're
talk after we get off. I'm going to see
we
if I
got
can
yeah,
possibly pull that off with you. If you really
kosher
mean it.
kosher wine podcast on the road again.
I that's a dream of mine to go visit him, honestly, but I'd love to. Well, we'll have
There
to
may
figure
be
it out
some
offline.
Marciano in there.
There may be some Marciano what?
Also, a visit to
Oh, you
Marciano,
may visit Marciano?
which is really hard to get to, really hard to visit.
All right, we're gonna have to talk. That's amazing. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you next week, I hope. Mr. Hashem.
Are there any wines that you're looking forward to?
Um, I'm thinking if there's gonna be any wines that are gonna be that much different than what was in Miami. I'm sure they're always much, like I've said, I don't really go to like taste wines. I don't feel like it's even a great opportunity for that. There are a couple, I'm just trying to remember. There are a couple. First of all, the new Pinto wines are going to be there. I know. Like, yeah, I don't know if Oryah will be there, but I know his wines will be there. That I'm interested to taste. That was not in Miami. Um,
I saw Josh Winderman is already on his way.
yes. He promised me, he promised me, like all the French fancy ones I tasted in Miami, because Menachem was there. He promised me, Josh, that because I am unable to get a Riesling or the Fum Blanc that he made, he promised me he was going to bring me one. I have to remind him.
Is it Fume or is it Fume?
It's probably Fume.
I don't know.
I'm sure it's Fume. It's actually is from Fume. The accent's at the end.
Yeah.
Um, but in any case, he'll be pouring it there, so at least I'll taste it there. Yeah, I mean, you know what I would tell people to try to taste. Herzog Reserve made a Chenin Blanc, which is outstanding. I would tell people to try to taste that if it's there. Um,
Did you have
that's
any of that
and that's
2023?
not going to be sold. That's not going to be sold on the open market. I think that's going to be more like, wine club slash bought by at the winery. What were you asking?
Did you have any of the 2023 the Pinot Gris family collection at Dalton? The vineyard was bombed, so that's the end of the Pinot Gris. Did you have any when you were there?
Don't know. I don't want to say one way or the other because I'll say no, and I'll be like, "What are you talking about? That was the first one we had." I have to I have to look at my notes to be totally honest. As I said, midday things started to get hazy, so which is why I have notes.
Which is
But
why when you go to these things, you shouldn't actually drink the wine. I know it's as a Jew, it's very hard.
I totally
You should
disagree.
drink the wine so you remember what's going on.
I totally disagree. It was amazing. I don't regret that at all. I don't regret it at all.
I pulled out my wines. I opened a few interesting wines in Shabbos. I opened up this one. Um,
Yeah,
you
that's
you
I can't see it, but I know the label. It's Yaakov's Playground, right?
It's Yakov's Playground Chardonnay.
Chardonnay. I like
After
that
you
one.
said I'm not sure about it, I tried it. It's really good.
Yeah, it's very good.
It's really good.
I like that wine a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, it
Um,
it was something that look, I'm not a white guy generally, but I think this one breaks the mold. It was tropical. It was like a Sauvignon Blanc Chardonnay, very weird. Like it had like a little a citrus and there was like depth, minerality. I I
yeah,
I thought it was something unique.
yeah, definitely a lot of mineral in that. I haven't tasted it in a while. It's very good. He does something very unique with that. Like he takes like a bunch of different fermentations and mix them together. I don't remember. He does crazy stuff with his wines. Like
It's like I
that's not
generally
just That's not just like, some single tank wine. It's why it's called Playground. He
Right.
really messes around with that one.
Generally, I would say it's really not a good idea to spend a lot of money on a white, but this one's worth it.
You'll be converted.
Yeah.
The way I always tell people that I think everyone has that in their head that, oh, I'll spend 25 up to $25 or something on a white. On a red, I'll spend $50. And whatever, you can apply any number set. It's not about the
Yeah.
numbers. But people are always willing to spend like, much more on reds. And I'm like, what's the difference? It's, quantitatively, it's the same amount of wine. All that matters is your enjoyment of it. If you're worried about like the aging thing and whatever, that's maybe a different story. But that's bottom line is, that's you. I get very often more enjoyment out of a bottle of white. So I'm like, why wouldn't I spend at least the same amount I would spend on a bottle of red?
It's
But
just for
that's
some
me.
reason people are like, why would I spend a lot of money on a white? But I think this one was amazing.
Yeah, that's not cheap either. It's like what, like $40 maybe?
Yeah,
I don't
something
remember,
like
but
that.
something like that. Yeah, but it's
I o-
a good
I
wine.
opened up this one. It's my I haven't had this. I think I had it a long time ago, but I never bought my first time buying a wine from him, and it's actually right near where you just were. You didn't go there, I guess, because you didn't talk about it. But this one was really interesting.
Yeah,
The Kamisa Omega blend, the
right.
2020.
Kamisa is the old Delta Winery.
Yeah, the Delta Winery, exactly.
Yeah. I
Very, very woody, lots of vanilla,
It's super oaky.
very oaky.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the winery's reputation is big red wines with lots of oak.
It was
Um,
very big,
it's
very
not
oak.
my favorite style, but good wine's good wine. I always remember like that Kamisa Winery, formerly Delta. There was a group that went from Baltimore, and it was led by Rabbi Eichenstein. It was a name. Eichenstein is a name all over the place. His father is in Chicago, and they're kind of a dynasty. I can't remember the dynasty that he is, but in any way, they went. He took a bunch of guys, and a lot of friends of mine went. And anytime these guys go on these things, they're always texting me pictures of the bottles. I'm sure you get the same thing.
all the time.
And
Yeah,
I'm like, why'd you guys decide to go there? Not there over anything else. And I realized because they have all the Heimish Hashkachas on the back.
exactly.
They won't go to every single winery, but they go to that winery.
It was good. It was good.
Yeah, yeah,
The other one I opened is one that I had in my cellar, and I had bought it a long time ago. It's interesting. It says I bought it in New York, and it says for sale in New York State only, which was interesting to me.
really.
Um, 2017 Goblet Pinot.
Yeah, yeah. That's Yankee Drew's wine.
Yeah, exactly.
What vintage did you say? 2017?
2017.
Interesting.
Yeah.
How was that? That's getting old.
Yeah, I mean, I like Pinots. Do you like Pinots?
I love Pinot.
I like Pinots. It's very subtle. It was like red cherry. It was definitely, I'm not saying at its peak, but right around there. Like I think it's getting towards its peak. Like very red cherry, very raspberry, earthy undertones.
Yeah. Sounds like a Pinot. I never had that exact bottle.
Yeah, it
And
was
he's a great mensch, Yankee Drew. He makes really good wines. That used to be I don't know exactly his story nowadays, but he used to be making these wines out of City Winery in New York. And there probably has that label on it because they probably were only really selling it out of the place. City Winery is a very interesting place. It's like owned by Jews, and they very much go out of their way to have like even not even Israeli wines, but like kosher wines. But it's not a kosher place. But
right.
it's like it's not a small club, but they have lots of live music there. It's a very cool place, it seats, I don't know, X hundred people, but they also make their own wine. And he was making kosher wines out of that place for a while. I don't know if he still is.
Maybe we should get him on the podcast. He seems like a really interesting
He's
guy. And this was
I think he's a very humble person, and he's not like a podcaster. Not that you can't be humble and be on here, but like I don't think I could convince him to. He's a very interesting guy. I would love to get him on.
we're so unarming. Like I think that
Agreed.
it's easy. We're just having a conversation.
Agreed. Well,
I
he
don't know.
looks cute. He's got a big beard. We could call it two. We could call it two beards and a bald guy.
That's funny.
Absolutely.
I also have the bald problem.
I think he does too,
Problem
actually.
or good thing. So I like the Eola. I usually buy the Eola Hills,
Uh-huh.
and that's like my go-to Pinot. And then I had this one, and yeah, it's different. Not what I expected.
Yeah, it's a different style. Yeah, I had that narrow bridge. Did I talk about that? Did we talk
Mm-mm.
about that?
No, tell me.
Wrote about it. I had the narrow bridge is a very small wine production in California, and let me find my notes real fast.
Yeah,
It,
it's out of St. Louis Obispo.
that's right, and
It's done by the Chabad Shliach there, Rabbi
that's
Chaim
right.
Hillel. He's a good
Correct.
friend of
Do you
mine.
know him?
I know
Yes,
him. He's a
Chaim
great
Hill.
man. He's a great man.
Yeah, also would be a cool guy to get. He and the other guy.
Oh, he'll come on anytime.
Um, but that was a really good wine. Yeah, here it is. With Chaim Hillel. I'm looking at their website.
Yeah.
Um, that was really good wine. I really enjoyed it. It is not cheap. It was, I'm looking on there. Wolf, they call it Wolf Pinot Noir, $81.
Yeah. I had that Pinot. That's a great Pinot.
It was great. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed that. So anyone looking for it can find it on their website, which is narrowbridgewinery.com. It's also sold in New York. It's sold in some random places, but I think it's at I Drink Kosher, who also has a brick and mortar place. I know it's sold there. Someone just told me that. So you could find it elsewhere. But it was really good. Really good.
Maybe let's go there also. That's a great spot
Now
to
you're really I gotta go talk to my wife. Gotta get on this trip.
London or
Figure out if I could do
Northern
it. Yeah,
California.
no, I can figure out if I could do that. All right. Well, whew, I'm tired of hearing my own voice.
I am so happy to hear about your trip to Israel. Do
Yeah,
you,
thank you.
I know you were doing some Instagram lives, but I'd love to see if we can put them together and do like
Oh,
some podcasts on the road stuff from there.
yeah. My problem always is storage of my phone, so I can't because I have a very old phone. And like I said, I would still be on a BlackBerry if I could. But so I have like no storage. So I decided to just live stream it on Instagram. And because I know I only discovered this like a few months ago that you can then download it at a later point.
Yeah.
Essentially, they store the data, which is great. So yeah, I can. I mean, that's yeah, I got footage I think in all the places we were in, and I actually walked the actual tour part at Recanati that we did with Effie. I recorded the whole thing, which is really cool. The only thing that was missing was that they weren't actually doing bottling that day, but we walked into this all the bottling line. But everything, it's a very cool place.
I would love
They have a
to
beautiful,
edit a
but
thing for
when you
you.
walk into the visitor center, they have one of these like glass floor things where you can look down at the cellar. It's very cool. You see like the barrels right underneath you.
State
That
of
is
the art.
a
Well, it
beautiful
really
place.
is state of the art.
Really beautiful place. Really beautiful place. They had like some kind of boardroom where the wall was made out of cork and they have all these beautiful pictures all over the place. It happened to be think he's the CEO was there that day and we were schmoozing with him and he was implying how much he was like, yeah, we really spent a lot of money on that artwork or something like that. I was like, it sounds like a CEO, not a winemaker. A winemaker doesn't think about that as much as the CEO. Anyway, but it was great. Thanks for letting me talk about it. All right, well, we should schmooze about this possible trip.
This is
But thanks for getting on. And
I always think about that the world of kosher wine is just getting started.
it really is. There's so much growth, and there's so many unopened doors still to open, for lack
Yeah,
of a better term. All right, great to see you.
same here. Can't wait to see you in person.
I know it'll be great. If anything, I'll know I'll get a good hug when I go to KFWA.
Exactly.
All right.
See you soon.
See you soon.